You're right.
I'm catching up here. I'm sorry.
Folks, I'm Jesse Jones reporting for the MarionCountyMessengers.com. We are here at lovely Hannah Pickett Park in Monteagle for a meeting of SOCM, Save Our Cumberland Mountains. We now join the meeting in progress.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. For the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and start doing some talking here. Please feel free to go ahead and keep helping yourselves to the food back there as I go. So everybody, as you come in, there is a table right here in the middle. We got a sign-up sheet. Please make sure to get your name, your number on there. We are going to be doing some door prizes at the end of everybody here. We got some goodies to give out. Thank you all for coming out here tonight. We want to be able to follow up with you. You guys here we are right here. There we go. All right, so doing that again, everybody, make sure we do have a table sitting here in the middle. Make sure to get your name, your contact information on there. We're going to be doing door prizes when this is all said and done. So thank you for coming out. Again, we've got all the food over here. Please help yourself as we get going. But I'm going to start by saying thank you all and introduce myself. So my name is Talon Saltridge. I am the chair of the local Plateau and Valley chapter of SOCM here. I am also a local business owner, so I run Eagle Mountain Ironworks, which is a fabrication shop based out in Grundy County. It was through my work there that I actually found out about everything going on here. I was doing work for a customer off of Summerfield Road, and the proposed flat steel quarry was going to be right in their backyard, and I started talking to them about that. And through talking through them, I realized that even though it's not directly in my own backyard, it is still something that affects me and affects everyone. The future of this plateau is something that we should all care about, and I think it's important to tackle these issues as a community. One of SOCM's main goals that we have is community-led development, and that's kind of the theme of tonight, is the fact that we want the people in the community to have a voice in what happens up here on this mountain. And we also want to focus on protecting the land, the water, and the people. We want to make sure that this place stays beautiful for generations to come. Get my slide here. So we will be covering quite a few things tonight. We have a lot on the agenda, so I'm not going to take too much of your time here. But I do want to run through a quick little overview of what you can expect. Housekeeping before we get there. There is bathrooms back here behind us, directly on the opposite side of this wall right here. So if you walk around, there's some bathrooms back there for you. Let's see here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to have Adam, who is from the TED chapter in Knoxville, come up here and give you an introduction to what SOCM is, who we are here in just a moment. And then I'll get back up here and give you specifics of our local chapter here. And then we have a lot of speakers that are going to come up tonight. They're going to cover some different issues, including the jump-off quarry, the Klaus Hill quarry, and the Monteagle truck stop over here in specific. We've got a lot of things going on with all of those. One of the most immediate being the jump-off quarry. We are currently in the appeal process for their permit. And we do have a legal fund going for that, and we have someone who is willing to match donations up to $10,000 through the end of the month. So anything you give will be doubled when you do. So we'll have some talk of that later on how you can do that. Let's see. And then once we're done, and once you get through all the presentations and all these lovely people up here sharing their stories with you, we're going to open it up to some questions and answers. So if you do have some questions, hold on to them, and we'll get through you all at the end there, make sure that we're all on the same page when we're done. And with that, I'm going to hand the mic over here to Adam and let you come up and give them a run through of who we are.
Yay!
Thank you, Talon. My name is Adam Hughes. Forgot to put on a name tag, but I'll fix that right when I'm done speaking. I'm the East Tennessee organizer with SOCM. I have been for 11 years now. So I've worked with communities in Knoxville, all the way over to Crossville and Cookville, up Campbell and Claiborne County, right on the Kentucky border, and here in the Plateau and Valley for the last about 5 years or so. So I am so proud to be a part of this, and I'm so grateful that you all have welcomed me so well into your community, even got me a name tag when I needed one. Thank you, Bruce. I started coming here, I've been here before 2015, 2016, particularly working with the incredible folks who were able to protect their community from the Klaus Hill Quarry, working with Will and Lucy and the amazing folks from United to Protect the Plateau to get the Jackson Law passed to make sure that this town will not have a landfill unless the City Council okays it. This is really incredible work. So SOCM is now 53 years old this year. We were founded to save our Cumberland Mountains, which is how a lot of people still know us. We're still working on saving those Cumberland Mountains. What's important about the way we work, we are a community organizing group. So we're not an environmental group, we're not an activist group. We are a group that helps communities all throughout Tennessee to get a sense of their own power, to build all of your power, and to make sure whatever is happening in the community is the sort of stuff that you want to see and that you're interested in. So that's always something to remember. What we're doing here is trying to empower communities rather than take some sort of top-down approach and tell anyone what their community should look like. So as I said, SOCM has a long history. We began working in the South Cumberland Plateau on coal mining issues in the 70s. We worked on the passage of the Surface Mine Control and Reclamation Act. I remember the first time I came to Grundy County in 2015, I was meeting people who had known SOCM decades before and who'd been members decades before. So that is a really, really special privilege that I get to enjoy here. We've worked with Klaus Hill, we've worked with United to Protect the Plateau, so many great struggles that have gone on down here that I'm just, again, proud to have been a part of. One thing that folks asked me to mention today too, this year's 25th anniversary of Fall Creek Falls being declared a land unsuitable for mining. They were doing a lot of coal mining around Fall Creek Falls State Park. Local residents there reached out to SOCM, they became a SOCM chapter. They spent an entire decade trying to fight to get that unsuitable for mining designation on Fall Creek Falls State Park. And that came through in 2000. You think of how much we can enjoy that park today, how much tourism that brings into the region, and to know that all of that could have been threatened if it weren't for a decade-long fight really makes you appreciate what folks are able to accomplish. And because we have that sort of history, we know that this community can do it too. You know, folks right here, you all are capable of winning. You're capable of keeping your community safe. If you don't want quarries coming in and disturbing your residential neighborhoods, we have the guidebook for how we can win. We're going to talk more about that tonight. But yeah, once again, thank you all so much. And I'm going to turn it back over to Talon to talk a little more about the Plateau and Valley chapter.
All right, thank you, Adam. Just a quick overview so that you guys are all aware of who we are here, and I think a lot of you are. I see a lot of members, a lot of people who have been involved showing up tonight. So again, thank you for coming out. We began in 2023. Over 100 people met at the firehouse in Jump Off to oppose the proposed quarry out there, and that is when we got involved with SOCM and have been organizing since then. We had our first in-person meeting last summer, and then in the winter, I came on as the chair and been helping organize since then, and we've been doing monthly or bi-monthly meetings since then. And if you gave us your information, I'll make sure to follow up with you. We'll make sure to get invitations to that out to you. Tentatively right now, we are looking to be back in this place here 2 months from now, so it'll be the third Thursday of the month in October. I say tentatively because October, as you know, is extremely bipolar in Tennessee. It could be a beautiful day, warmer than this, or we could have inches of snow. So we will see if we have to get in somewhere inside. We'll take care of that, but I will make sure to follow up with everyone on that. And then again, just covering our mission, we're here to protect the mountains. We're here to protect the land, the water, the air, the people, everything about this great place. And my next slide here is just kind of showing you, what we have right now is this beautiful, pristine place. It's kind of hard to see up here in the light. You know how beautiful our mountain is. And we're trying to stop that from being turned into this open example exploitative capitalism out here. People drawing resources from our community for the benefit of the few and not necessarily concerned about the rest. Just want to mention as well that we're not speaking out against all development. As I said, we are a community-led, development-based organization, so we just want to make sure that the people have their voice heard as the mountain continues to grow. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our wonderful Sherry here and let her speak to you about what makes it so wonderful. You just hit the button. Just see the arrow. There you're ready.
Okay, so this is the tag team. What is so great about our South Cumberland, the plateau here? We have all these recreational opportunities. We have these, South Cumberland State Park, up there south of Swanee. We have Lost Cove, which we have. Swanee Forest. You've got Buggy Top Cave. There's Natural Ridge. There's Carter Natural Area. There's Hawkins Cove up there. There's going to be a new upcoming state park. It'll be up there. We also have Nick Jack's Reservoir, Tim Ford Reservoir, lots of rivers, and we do the elk, boating. We have all these opportunities for recreation. And I don't, if you, actually the gateway up here for South Cumberland Park, Beaver Falls, Stonewall, all these places go hide camp. You can boat, you can kayak, canoe, water. I'm used to it. But anyway, it's just a wonderful place, to live here and do all this stuff. So, we also have Swanee and the Domain. And so Swanee has been recognized as the best little small town for cultural and arts things, and they have a great music festival. Also, University of the South was recognized in Southern Living as, one of the best universities to come to, Swanee universities to come to. So those are major accolades for this area. And then conservation easements. Up by us is about 7 miles south of Swanee, but it's off of the Jump Off Mountain Road. It's actually a Jump Off Mountain Road. But back there, if you go to Mitchell Cove, there's actually 10 care got together with that's the Southern Cumberland Regional Land Trust, and with residents there, they set aside 1,000 acres as a conservation easement to be preserved forever. You can't, once a year, they make, have a kind of guided hike down here, but also the state of Tennessee, or the South Cumberland Plateau, has designated a state wildlife action plan, SWPPs, and the conservation opportunity area for the South Cumberland Plateau. So those are more vehicles for preserving our land, and why we need to have smart development that is friendly to the environment and people. Not just building things everywhere and wiping out the wilderness. And also, the Land Trust of Tennessee has designated the South Cumberland Plateau as one of its 10 conservation opportunity regions, which those are things that we can work for and build through to save the area. Now, as far as ecotourism and economics for the area, those are our big draws. That's what we have to preserve. It's like the, tourism is, our ecotourism is the goose that lays the golden egg. If we wipe out these areas, we build sand quarries, we have extractive rock industries, like right where you live, right next to, like Fossil Falls, there's a proposed 78 house development is going to go on top of the falls. Where we're at, putting, a sand quarry right next to all these, Lost Cove and things like that. It's just not it's not feasible, it's gonna ruin everything. And so, we pulled up some of these, how much money was being spent. There's like $30.6 billion in direct visitor spending for tourism. And then visitors to Grundy County have generated $6.6 million in direct spending for tourism. Franklin County visitors spent $99 million, and then Marion County was like $95.7 million. So this is a big amount of money, tourism coming to the area. That's why we need to preserve and conserve our natural areas. Because once they're gone. And right now, Marion County and Franklin County are wide open for anybody that wants to come in here. You can have a waste, we can have pork collars, we can have more extractive industries, block industries. You can have biosolids, fuels that we stop down in Grundy County. But things like that can come in here from the Montego truck stop. This fight's been going on for 5 years. And so it's really important, for us to conserve and protect ours. I know you can't see the picture for what I did. I have a picture, you're all familiar with this. If you go down the Dick Jack Reservoir, beautiful area, right? And then if you go to Tim Ford Lake, probably a lot of people drive down to Winchester to go there. You've probably done the Elk River there. I need to have a kid right here. There's all kinds of things to do. I mean, this is the one picture. There's Buggy Top Cave. You can actually go down there. They have ranger-led trips that will take you in. It's a fun cave. It's not hard. There's a couple of us. I'm a kind of former caver now. We got another hardcore caver in the audience who leads trips to several people, 2 hardcores, lots of cavers. There's water sports. There's, you can kayak, canoe, you can water ski, on the River Gorge, Tennessee River Gorge, all kinds of things like that. And this next slide is showing the destruction. I'm sorry, these are quarries, but if you've been down to the Marion County Park, they have put a limestone quarry. It's just beaten them out of the way in the last year. Totally insanity. And then, the quarry right there at River Gorge, down below River Gorge Ranch on the Tennessee River, that's going big time. You've got the proposed quarry south of Swanee on Highway 156. It'll be close to us. You have the Klaus Hill Quarry. I'll have more to say about that in a minute. It's down there in Grundy County. And then, there's Jasper County. There's a Jasper Quarry down there. It's on River Gorge, the River Gorge, Tennessee River Gorge too. And this was specifically, I know the pictures you can't see them, but the point I was trying to make that if you've been down to Klaus Hill, it's been closed since 2022, so we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But once the sand quarry or a quarry goes in there, it's a moonscape. I mean, there were 400 some acres. They tore up about 217 acres. You can't do anything with it unless you can make it, like a big lake, but it's, there's still pollution, there's sand pollution sand flowing into Hurricane Creek every time there's a big rain. And I mean, it's just horrible. It used to be a nice forested area. There's 3 subdivisions who are around there, Deer Lick, Timberwood Trace, and Timberwood Trace and another one. It's just a real eyesore. How can you claim that all the topsoil's gone? Like you could maybe make a lake out of it or a reservoir, but that's it. And this was a list of what I'm calling the assaults. These are things that are happening all over our 3 counties. But it's like, the Klaus Hill Sand Quarry that's in Grundy. I mentioned some of these Marion County, quarry across from Marion County Park. Our proposed quarry down 156 south of Swanee. The proposed housing development on top of Foster Falls, that would be absolutely horrible there. And once that ecosystem is destroyed, it's gone. Right now, it's in a holding pattern, but it's still viable. We've got the Montego truck stop. That fight's been going on for 5 years now. People, the developers pushing forward with that. We've got the total biosolids, that was in Grundy County, so actually people there got in an uproar and they stopped that baby. holding this track, so they went somewhere else, and there was so much public outcry, and that's what can stop these things. But the other thing Grundy has is called the Special Powers Act, which allows counties with, no zoning in unincorporated areas, they can actually, they can accept this resolution and they can define what they want to, they can regulate a business. And that's basically how they're stopping things down there. Marion County and Franklin County do not have the County Powers Act. It has to be enacted through commissioners. The other thing is, I talk about, we've got Jasper Highlands, I'm sure some people here may live there. It's great living on the ridges, but now, you've got the Etna Mountain going on. That's been a big fight. They downscaled a little bit to like 1,720 houses, but the thing is, the mountain is built on top of old coal mines, abandoned coal mines. It's like interlaced. So what's going to start happening, with people drilling wells, they don't have water sources up there yet. I mean, the septic tanks in, it's not very viable for that, but, that's a problem that, that's a major draw over the U.S. now. People are going, wow, let's move to, River Gorge Ranch, man, it's fantastic view, best view in the southwest or southeast. You got this great new restaurant up there and everything. But it's doing smart development, and putting it in places. It's not that we're against development or these industries coming in. It's doing it wisely so that people have input into it before it's a done deal with our our governments, our local governments, and the developers. So, next person coming is going to be Jump Off Falls, which is Ed Broughton. Ed Broughton. Sorry.
First, I'd like to apologize for the screen being light. We're going to turn the lights off, and someone from City Hall came back on the doors. Gave me the light switches, so I apologize about that. I'm going to have to use my notes here to see where I start. My name is Ed Broughton. My wife, Jan, is sitting in the back. We've owned the property out of
It's like you.
that better?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've owned a property out on Jump Off Mountain Road for 21 years. It's right across the road from the Jump Off Quarry. A little bit of land separates us.
It's not a quarry yet.
Okay, proposed quarry. Good. But it is a mostly wooded tract of land. We consider it a personal sanctuary, but it's also a sanctuary for the wildlife there as well. Jump Off Creek meanders through our property for almost half a month and spills over Jump Off Falls. And I'll show you the slide here since we can't read the copy. It's hard to see. I see the creek too. Beautiful creek. But it spills off the Jump Off Falls, joins the Jump Off Cove Branch, going down through Jump Off Cove, and joins in Battle Creek, which ultimately flows into the Tennessee River. There's a picture of the falls that you can't see really well. I want to talk a little bit about exceptional Tennessee waters. Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation, or TDEC, is what we're talking about tonight. Has designated certain waterways in the state as being exceptional Tennessee waters. TDEC defines these exceptional Tennessee waters as being surface waters of the state that possess exceptional biological diversity, protected species, important ecological values, valuable recreational uses, or outstanding scenery. And these waters are given a higher degree of protection due to their unique characteristics and are subject to more stringent regulations. Jump Off Creek happens to be classified as one of those except in Tennessee waters. And that's due to its exceptional biodiversity. And on the next few slides, I'm going to be talking about just concerns that we have for the jump-off quarry and the location. TDEC is the state's permitting agency for mining operations. And on July the 3rd, TDEC issued a NPDES permit, stands for National Pollution Discharge Elimination System. It has to do with water quality. Issued a permit for the jump-off quarry, which addresses surface discharges and wastewater and stormwater runoff. TDEC says that the jump-off quarry industrial wastewater and stormwater runoff from their mining operations can be diverted or discharged directly into jump-off creek. And they're saying that this will have a de minimis impact on the stream. De minimis is Latin for minimal or not significant. We're concerned that the discharge waters will not be clean, and that the discharge will contaminate and degrade the water quality of jump-off creek as well as the groundwater in underlying water tables. Those are water quality issues or concerns. The next couple of slides have to do with all the other things that are not covered by the water quality permit. These are things that other quarries have experienced in terms of impact. The air pollution for diesel trucks and quarry equipment, airborne silicate particulates from blasting rock and crushing operations, airborne silicate and diesel fuel that exhaust micro particulates dispersed for miles by wind and associated with lung disease such as silicosis, COPD, and heart disease. Lasting damage to housing walls or house walls, foundations, area wells, and significant loss of property value. Location is next to a quarry. There will be permitted up to 100 heavy-duty triaxle dump trucks traveling per day on narrow mountain highways with steep drop-offs and low shoulders, doing jump-offs on Eagle, posing serious traffic and hazardous risk to cars, bikers, and school buses. Traffic congestion along Highway 156 and 41A and Airport Road will affect not only those communities, but also Swanee, St. Andrews, and the University of the South. Extra wear and tear on roads by loaded triaxle dump trucks weighing anywhere from 72 to 76,000 pounds goes to the FOA. The extreme noise pollution from blasting, rock crushing, and grinding diesel trucks and other quarry equipment. This loud, constant noise is detrimental to the health of people, pets, livestock, and wildlife. Hours of operation are pretty extensive hours of operation that will be allowed to operate 8 to 12 hours per day, 5 to 7 days per week, 250 days per year. Light pollution from the quarry light at night. Effect of blasting and heavy truck traffic on the utilities along Highway 156, specifically the water line of the Swanee Water District. That's a 6-inch water line of the Swanee Water District and Duck River electric lines. On windy days, fugitive dust and particles from the quarry can directly affect the visibility on Highway 156 and in effect sandblast vehicles and homes nearby. So noise and light pollution, traffic congestion, blasting damage, blasting and emissions are not regulated by Tennessee. Those are nuisance complaints that have to be litigated by dozens by citizens against the business itself. So those are concerns that we have, and I guess I want to reiterate that we are not opposed to quarries. Quarries are important for roads and highways, interstates, residential and commercial these other things, and just a location that's really smack dab in the middle of a peaceful neighborhood of residential homes and parks and farming. So I think we've got a real concern overall about the location. With that, I'll turn it over to Richard.
Good afternoon. I'm probably one of the newest persons to the plateau. I just closed on some property in July, and I'll talk just a little bit more of that in a second. How many of you all have actually read the TDEC mission statement? Okay, a lot of you. So this will just be a refresher, and what I want you to focus on, if you can see them, I've highlighted certain words. So when you start with this, TDEC exists to enhance the quality of life for citizens of Tennessee and to be stewards of the natural environment. Two words there are enhance and stewards. Both of those are positive. There's no negative to that. Then as we go on, we see how they achieve it. They achieve by protecting and improving the quality of Tennessee's land, air, and water through a responsible regulatory system. As I looked at it from somewhat of an outsider when I was initially looking at this, it looked more like it was an irresponsible regulatory system. And then as we look at the health and safety for humans, we probably need to bring in some animals. They want to protect and promote. Again, two positive words in that mission statement. Then we look at the natural, cultural, and historic resources. It's conserving and promoting. Kind of, you notice the theme here? Everything in their mission statement is positive. There's no mention of what Ed had talked about and presented in his presentation part of this. They also want to provide quality outdoor recreational experiences. You know, possibly the folks who live close to that potential mine, quarry, they may not want to go outside. And you see that TDEC says they're committed to providing a cleaner, safer environment through, well, that goes hand in hand with economic prosperity and increased quality of life. They want to maintain standards for air, water, and soil quality. To me, TDEC is painting a very rosy picture through their mission statement of what they're going to do for the community. And when in real life, their permits they issue have an opposite effect. They do allow pollution of both air, water, and land. And so I'm looking at them as a business like I do because I work for a private business now. When our regulations and policies don't sync up with our mission statement, our operational effectiveness declines, and then the well-being of the very things that they're trying and entrusted with to protect aren't. The air, the land, the water, you and me, as people and animals. Like I mentioned earlier, I joined SOCM just after my offer on that property came through. I've come to the first meeting in June, and we're a group of neighbors, and we want to help protect the neighbors. So I think anybody who's not a member, first off, you can choose to join and become active member, and you can share your information regarding the environmental issues that affect the plateau. So share it with your friends and neighbors and let them know your concerns. The second thing we can do is, I think we need to get in touch with our state and local officials and let them know our concerns. because this all starts at the top. But we have to come together and make certain they hear our concerns. And finally, Adam talked a little bit about the Fall Creek Falls. So I'm cautiously optimistic and very hopeful that we can be successful, just like Fall Creek Falls was 25 years ago when they banned the strip mining in state forests and state parks. I'm not certain who's next. This has to do with the core. No, it's not me. I'm not. I think it's you. Yes. Sorry.
Well, we hope TDEC is not ironically named Department of Conservation, Environment and Conservation. But as has been indicated, TDEC did issue a NPDES, the National Pollution Discharge Elimination System permit, that allows would allow Tinsley Sand and Gravel to discharge stormwater and wastewater into Jump Off Creek and the groundwater adjacent. That was issued on July 3rd. Our attorney filed an appeal on July 31st. The attorney is Elizabeth Murphy in Nashville. There will be a hearing on the merits before an administrative law judge. That hasn't yet been scheduled. There is a scheduling hearing on Tuesday to decide when the hearing will be. The main thrust, the appeal is obviously to reverse the permit. The main thrust of the appeal is that TDEC improperly granted the permit because it improperly concluded that the damage, the impact to Jump Off Creek and the exceptional waters downstream from it would be de minimis, meaning negligible, insignificant. And we think it would be a lot more than insignificant, a lot more than de minimis. So that's the main thrust of the appeal. Along with that is we think the engineering design that was submitted and approved by TDEC is inadequate to protect the exceptional Tennessee waters, especially in light of the kind of weather that we've been having with these torrential storms. And it's designed for, Sherry can probably tell you exactly what their design was, a 10-year rainfall or something. 24 years. 20, yeah, so, but it's not adequate for the kind of rain we've been having. Also, we're concerned about the impact, the flow of the discharge into groundwater, which will affect wells that many people rely on. The appeal hinges on the fact that Jump Off Creek is an exceptional Tennessee water. And so that means having a very high diversity and it's very clean. And Sherry can tell you more about the biodiversity, the local geology, the cave system, the additional reasons that we want to protect this area. Tinsley Sand and Gravel has intervened on the appeal. We have a fight on our hands. We're not going to give up without a fight. As you probably all know, attorneys in litigation are expensive. We're being careful with legal costs, but it's going to be a fight. I don't think Tinsley's going to give up easily, but neither are we. So we encourage your support to protect this area that we know is so beautiful and that we love. Thank you.
Okay, well. I'm gonna talk about the Klaus Hill Quarry, that there's several people here who were in on that fight for several years. You know, we found out about, when, you know, when we found out it was gonna be a quarry and maybe would jump off, you know, community, but previously, like in 2020, there were 3 upscale resident, you know, subdivisions around Klaus Hill. And the only way they found out that something was happening, all of a sudden there was 477 acres there, and they didn't know who bought it first, but all of a sudden all the trees disappeared. And then there was electrical coming in, and then they found out, oh, this is Tinsley Properties, LLC, and they went, uh-oh. And then all of a sudden, there started to be some excavating and blasting, and that was actually prior to TDEC permits. Well, anyway, this is where Grundy had Mesa the Hole. They had previously enacted the County Powers Act before this happened. And so they already had the resolution in place, and they had already, before the quarry actually got going, they had designated the business that you cannot have a quarry within 5,000 feet of a house, a church, a school, things like that. And so on that basis, Mayor Brady with Tinsley, with the sheriff, had a cease and desist order, said you will stop, you can't do this. And so what Tinsley did, he immediately, you know, appealed the Special Powers Act, County Powers Act, to the Chancery Court. And so I think it was in 2022. Anyway, Tinsley lost. So what did they do? They appealed to the appellate court, again trying to strike down the Special Powers Act, because that's what was stopping the quarry in Grundy County. Again, the judge ruled in favor of Grundy County. And so the last thing here in 2025, Tinsley took this they appealed to the Tennessee Supreme Court. And I think that was heard it was in early July, so there's no ruling yet. But one thing that was really on the side of Grundy County, their attorney, you know, gave an impassioned, well, he gave really strong arguments, but also the Assistant Attorney General of the state of Tennessee came up and spoke in defense of the Special Powers Act with Grundy County. That was very powerful because Tinsley had this, they had gone out of the way to hire these lawyers out of Nashville. They had a whole bunch of different lawyers trying to fight this guy. It was like a silver-tongued devil that got up there. You know, he was very eloquent and everything, but I think the Supreme Court justices saw through him. They kept asking a lot of questions, you know, back and forth, even to Grundy's. But anyway, we're still waiting that, you know, hopefully the Supreme Court will rule in favor of Grundy County again, and that will mean that the Klaus Hill Quarry will stay closed. Of course, you know, Mr. Tinsley will be looking for the quarry sites, which, you know, I think the proposed jump-off quarry is low-hanging fruit. You know, it's easy. It's got good roads, which will stay that way. So, you know, our fight's going to be prolonged and long. Klaus Hill fought this for several years. I mean, this is the importance that Franklin County and Marion County need to get the Special Powers Act passed. We tried to do it in Marion County in October of 23 and 24. The commissioners, you know, soundly defeated it. The interests that came in were like farmers. It has absolutely no regulation of farmers. Any business that's already there, even if it's a, you know, a quarry or anything like that, is grandfathered in. And the thing is, it takes 2/3 majority of the commissioners to even vote in the resolution. Then they have to define what the industry, the nuisance industry is going to be. And it can also be undone, so it's not set in stone. But this is something, you know, we have to really work for. It's going to probably take flipping commission seats and changing, you know, the mentality of the Little Boy Club politics, you know, in Marion County. But thank you. We were gonna say a question, but
What about Franklin County?
Franklin doesn't have it either, so we need to work, we've gotta really work, this is gonna be like our, outreach to lean on our local commissioners, and your city fathers, because right now, the mayor of Marion County has said that he will veto this. He said it a year ago, and so we're trying to get, vote him out. We will actively campaign against him. So I think next up is the Montego truck stop. And Lucy Keeble.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Those of us in Montego know a lot about this truck stop. It's been the fight that we've been up against for over 5.5 years. And I came to know about it 5 years ago in the month of August. And we have with us today several neighbors who live just over here, some within 50, 60 feet of where the truck stop site is going to be. And I'm going to invite them to come up and share with you their experience of being in this location and how hard it has been to change the minds of those that are here to represent us in Montego, protecting us from something as bad as putting a truck stop, a giant truck stop, in a neighborhood. So, Will, Billy, Mary Beth, if you all would like to come up and share a little bit from your experience, I would be so grateful. Just a little bit by way of background, Billy had somehow gotten a letter to enough of the people in the Montego Sunday School Assembly that the then president, who was on his way out, sent a copy to me. Somehow he'd gotten a copy. And when I read Billy's letter about what was going to happen here, I was shocked and immediately took my concerns to a small group of people, and we all banded together and formed United to Protect the Plateau. And our mission is not just to stop the truck stop. Our mission is like the mission of so many nonprofits in this area, and I'll just quickly share this with you. Our mission is to protect the health and safety of South Cumberland Plateau citizens, business owners, and visitors, promote smart, healthy economic growth and development, preserve and protect the natural landscape and beauty of the South Cumberland Plateau. So anyway, I will let these fine neighbors catch you up on some things that they've had to deal with and where things stand today. Thank you. This is Will Flooring, yes, and Mary Beth.
All right, from here, the truck stop right across the fields. And I encourage everybody, when you're leaving, take a drive over there, go all the way around the square block, look at the homes that are in that area, look at his property, and see how he takes care of things. All right, and he has multiple other properties that all look the same. They're all right. With United to Protect the Plateau coming on board, with this, one of our biggest things was Laurel Lake, Montego's main water source. Yes, we get some from Tracy. Yes, we're starting to get some from Swanee, I think, or Cliff, right? But the main, it's Laurel Lake. And we had a hydrological engineer with 60 years experience give us a report that says 90% of the water and runoff from that truck stop goes into Hidden Creek and into Laurel Lake. We've got photographs of it, we've got satellite images of it already from just him doing construction or starting to clear the property. He's never followed any of the rules. His motto, I believe, is my opinion, is get it done and then ask not for permission, but for forgiveness. And that's what he continually does. So, again, when it comes to TDEC, I have very little to say that's positive about TDEC. I know you guys already heard about TDEC, but if you don't stay on top of it, be active, take photographs, document, TDEC will do nothing. They will do nothing. Their mission statement's a joke. Me personally went down, a couple of the neighbors and United to Protect the Plateau, spoke with the commissioner at the time, got all kinds of information. Without the documentation, they would have done nothing. In fact, our last correspondence with TDEC was, stop contacting us about that business. So, there you go. The update, one of the things is we still have, there's still a nuisance suit, which is pending, because again, if you drive over there and you look at the neighborhood and the homes and where it's at, you know, it's out of place. It's, you know, it never should have been put, even considered to be put there. I don't know, I think, got anything else? I'll let you come up and give a little bit. But again, you gotta be active and you gotta stay on TDEX. You gotta stay active. They will do enough. Thank you.
I'm Billy Bass, another neighbor of Will's, and we live 200 feet probably from the development going in over here. And one of the things that really got me fired up when this all started was when we heard the rumor that it could possibly be going in, or they were talking about putting the truck stop in on that land there, it would have been very easy for my wife and I to sell our home and just move. And but we stuck around for a couple of months, came to a few city council meetings, and kind of got our feelers out of what was actually going on. And the more I tried to inquire about what was actually happening over there, the more I was lied to. And I decided to stay and not sell my place because of what was happening to us. Forget the fact that there's a truck stop on there. It's not right. It's not right when your government lies to you. It's not right when you have people that pass ordinances or change laws to benefit developers. And everything the way that we were treated from the very beginning was pretty much, we were left with nothing left to do other than sue. That's why we filed the lawsuit against the city. That's why we filed the lawsuit against the developer. It wasn't because we wanted to be in court. It wasn't that we couldn't just put ourselves for selling it out of here, but to me, it was a matter of principle. A matter of the people that were supposed to be protecting us, such as Town Hall, such as TDEC, did nothing to protect us. Matter of fact, they worked against us every time we go to the Bible option on how they could stop it, or a law that was being broken. They just changed the law, you know, or they just ignored the fact that we were sending them pictures, or the man would get fined, and they just dismissed the fines. You know, to get any type of media coverage, you know, is almost impossible because it's supposed to be too divisive amongst the community. Well, there's no doubt, Will has already said this, that the runoff from that property will end up in our drinking water. It's just that simple. It already goes there now. And when you put 20 acres of concrete on top of that dirt, with the road, with it being dirt right now, the road has already flooded 3 times in the last 2 years from the runoff off that property that's been diverted to this first corner of Sampson and Dixie Lake. So when that's all concrete, it's really going to pour onto this corner over here. The city won't make them upgrade the sewer. The city won't upgrade the sewer. They don't have the money to do that. This development right here next to y'all, if you've heard of it, a $50 million project is being held up because the sewer system is no good. You know, our sewer system is outdated. The town knew this, and yet we continue to approve project after project after project. One of our biggest complaints was, is there enough drinking water? Because we've been rationed as Montego residents in the last 3 or 4 years. I know multiple times where Laurel Lake gets so low we don't have enough water. You know, but yet they continue to approve hotels, truck stops. I mean, how many showers are going to be running that truck stop? How many toilets are going to be flushed over and over and over again daily? And so, you know, our biggest concern was not only Laurel Lake, but the fact that it's just going to drain the resources of the town. It's already ran thin on resources at all. Until our infrastructure is upgraded, the town needs to stop, you know. And yet we're the ones that the locals blame for the new people coming in that want to destroy the town. We want to stay the way it is. Moved up here because it was small and quaint and quiet. I never heard the interstate traffic. I never heard trucks over at Shan's Chinese restaurant. I never saw the lights from the pilot station, but now that all the trees have been cut down and the property has been graded, I hear the interstate, I see the lights, I hear the windows rattling in my house at night from the trucks that are parked at the Chinese restaurant. Yet, nothing's done about it. So I'll wrap it up by just saying that I can tell you this, and I don't want to sound discouraging, but I want to be honest with you. If your local government is not for you, like ours has not been with us, you got an uphill battle. Because it's going to boil down to money and politics. And we've spent a whole lot of money trying to stop this. And so I would get with my politicians, if any of you here that know somebody at the state level or even the federal level, I would go as high as you can go. Because I can promise you, Tinsley has got deep pockets. And he is going to use his money to influence anyone he can influence. If that hasn't already been done. We've been told by state agencies when we call, we've been told not to touch this. Where's that coming from? When we send pictures or we have, this is your rule, why aren't you enforcing it? Well, off the record, we've been told not to touch this. Multiple times we've been told that. And not just that, the Corps of Engineers told us the same thing. And multiple agencies, State Fire Marshal's Office told us the same thing. We've been told not to touch this. So I don't want you guys to feel like when you start doing your job and reporting things that need to be reported, don't get your feelings hurt if there's nothing you can get ignored. Travis was told, our building inspector by TDEC, that this man is supposed to turn in a weekly report on his progress. Every week's supposed to be turned in, and he was told by TDEC, sitting right there in town hall, that they would make sure, because he hadn't done it in a year, that they would not only make him do it, but he would provide those. They would provide them to our building inspector weekly. Since that meeting, not one building, that was a year and a half ago, there's not been one turned in. Not one. No progress reports. TDEC only does their job after the fact. So, like, if they will do it, their job is, he claims he has a grading permit through TDEC. TDEC does not issue grading permits. They only protect the runoff after construction has started. And so you got to be careful when you're reading what this gentleman said earlier. When you read what they say they do, and when you look at their guidelines for development, you have to be real careful and watch the wording, because they are real crafty about ignoring what they claim they're supposed to do. And so I'm just here to tell you, we've been fighting this for 5 years now. A lot of sleepless nights, a lot of time on the computer, digging up ordinances and digging up TDEC stuff, and talking to governors, talking to politicians, talking to everybody we talk to. And it's been a tough fight. It's been a tiring fight. So their job is to run you out of time and run you out of money. So how long can you stay in it? That's the question you have to ask yourself. And don't start bickering and fighting with each other, because somebody's going to decide they got a better idea on how to fight it. Stay together. I can urge you to stay together and stay in the fight. And complain to everybody you can complain to. The more people you can bring to the phone, the better chance you got to get to stopping it. But don't quit. We haven't quit in 5 years now. We're still going forward. And just now, as he happened, is the developer actually having to spend money. Just now. 5 years later, we're about half out, but they're just now making him spend money. So there are lots of groups out there that if you go back and watch some documentaries and stuff that show you how it's been fought, how they fight them in other areas, and it's the same pattern over and over and over. Keep them in the fight too long, we're out of money. Keep them in the fight too long, we're out of money. But stay in the fight, don't raise money. Thank you. Join us fighting this trust fight.
I feel like we've all aged about 50 years in 5 years. And we're like the old seasoned, activists or something, trying to tell you young folks how to do this thing. But I do feel like we've got some experience, strength, and hope that we want to share with all of you, because we have been doing this a little bit, and we have been hurt, we've been frustrated. All the things that these guys have shared with you, it just comes from our experience so far. We know that you guys are getting into that. So all I'm going to add to it is I love what Billy just said about sticking together, supporting each other, loving each other. Remember what you got into it for in the beginning, because somewhere in the middle of it, you start losing that because it gets so frustrating when people stop returning your calls and stop wanting to talk to you and stop wanting to hear the message. Stick together, remember what you started with and what you're doing it for, because it's for the bigger picture, it's for your kids and grandkids, it's for this place and this community. And the other thing I wanted to say is we've had some really great victories. We know some things may never change, but we also know we've really seen some really big. First of all, just knowing each other. The friends that we've made, the community that we built, the nonprofit that was born out of it, that who knows what God's going to do with that. It's just amazing the fact that we're all here together. The Jackson Mall that is part of our community now, and that's because of this. The truth is, there's a brand new administration in the town of Mont Eagle. I don't know that we need to take credit for that, but I'm real proud of it. I'm proud of what's here, because we did have to fight the whole daggone town of Mont Eagle, and that felt really lonely and really scary for a long time. And I'm real proud that things are different now and in a new direction. Stormwater ordinances that are in place now because we started talking about it. Because of what we saw, a whole road, a whole block of our town being washed out because things weren't being done right. Those are all victories that happened as a result of what this little group of neighbors that got together and just said, hey, things just aren't right. So I just want to encourage you to celebrate the victories, even the ones that seem small. If you lose in court, look at what you did. You made it that far. Look at those things and celebrate those things and celebrate each other, that you're here together and fighting for what matters. So be sure to do that. Just proud of all y'all.
Hello, everybody. My name is Deborah Reed. I've been fighting this good fight with all these good folks, and we are so lucky. Y'all have no idea the time and effort and money that has been put into this campaign. One thing I'd like to, and I won't talk long, but I just wanted to bring up the fact that we all know what goes on at truck stops. Okay? Sex trafficking. And it's happening now, just in this small area. Drug dealing. A lot of these truckers, when they pull up, if you can just imagine when 20 acres has got asphalt on it, first thing they do, they have a gallon of urine and they pour it out. That urine goes down into our drinking water, eventually, polluting it. Another thing that, there's an organization called Imagine Mont Eagle, and we're trying to make this city, this town, more attractive and more Mayberry and more, just a good place to come to, good places to eat, good places to stay. And just imagine this in your mind. If this truck stop gets built, there will be 150 parking spaces for 18-wheelers. Okay? They say, they'll get off at exit 135. Well, they won't be able to because it'll be backed up. Guess where they're going to get off? 134. Come down the street. It's a state highway. We can't stop that. They're going to come right down the street, past our churches, our school, and the ballpark. I mean, it's just ludicrous that this has even gotten this far. So I would encourage each of you, get on the phone. Start making calls. Start sending emails. We don't want this. I know that there's a lot of new people in the last 5 years. They don't even know about this. You say, I tell them about it, they say, what are you talking about? And they think because they're in Cliff Tops, which I'm also in Cliff Tops, or, Cooley's Rift or whatever, West Lonnie, that this will not affect them. It will affect them. So I'm just saying, everybody, please, just, call, email, whatever you can do, because we have got to stop this. Thank you.
I just want get us back to where we were by saying that one of the things, as one of the founders and director of United to Protect the Plateau, that I've seen is so important is not just hiding in your bubble. That to realize that what's going on out Jump Off Road, the threat of this quarry, that's today, but it should be a fight that we all take on. Not just the people who live right there, like the Rowlands. We have to link arms across this entire plateau, from Cowan to Beersheba Springs. Wherever there's a fight that involves people, we have to advocate for them. When it involves the environment, we have to advocate for the environment. And we just have to pull together and be together and be ready to fight the next thing that comes up. And right now, this quarry is preeminent, and we have to stay together. We have to get more people joining us, and any support regarding the truck stop is great, but we are here to say we're with you. Thank you.
All right, thank you again, United to Protect the Plateau, our friends coming out and showing some support and sharing as well. So Lucy did a great job of hitting this next slide, so I'm going to make my stuff brief here because I want to hear from some of you guys. But just to overview it is why do we organize, like she said, because we don't know when the next thing is going to pop up. And if we're all scattered and facing this individually, we don't stand half the chance as what we do together. So it's important that we stay together on all of these issues. Why raise money? To touch back to this, so I was wrong earlier. We do not have a $10,000 matching grant. We have a $12,000 matching grant. Woo. So anything, like I said earlier, anything you give can be doubled, will be doubled, and that will go directly towards that appeal that we're going through right now. We're going to end with some call to actions right before we get into the questions. So the first thing that you guys can do is to join up. Everyone, like I said earlier, there's a sign-up sheet back there. We'd love to get your information. We will make sure to stay in touch with you and keep you updated on everything that is going. Volunteer and participate. We do events here and there to spread the word, and there will come times when we need to show up to meetings and things like that. So by staying involved, we can get those calls out to you there. And again, donating to that Jump Off Legal Fund, that is our big one right now. Unfortunately, this fight just takes money. And then again, going to TDEC at tn.gov, you can share your ideas with them there. You can reach out to them directly, and focusing on these county commissioners and getting elected officials in that will stand with us, represent us is another big one. But yeah, I want to hear from all of you. So we're going to do some questions. Actually, I have one more. I'm sorry. The fire right here. I have one more to pass it off to that has some news to share about the fire station coming in out here and Jump Off, and then I'll jump back up here and we'll do our questions. So thank you, Joe.
Good evening. I'm Joe Gill, and my wife and I live on Jackson Point Road and have a beautiful 27-acre property there that we're very proud of and we want to maintain. So the quarry is very alarming to us for multiple reasons that have been well identified here. I'm a SOCM member and supporter, and I encourage, if you haven't taken advantage of the person who is matching our grants right now, SOCM is a 501(c)(3). Your donation is tax deductible. If you happen to be retired and have required minimum distributions, you can take advantage of that and also manage your income taxes a little bit. So another reason I'm here is I'm a firefighter, and I'm at Station 2 on Jump Off Mountain Road, which is right a few hundred yards from where this quarry is going to be. We don't have a community center out there, and we very much want to offer and want to be able to use that fire station as a community center. One thing we're doing this coming September 6th, Saturday, is having a pancake breakfast at the fire station. You're all welcome to come and attend that. It's pretty much all morning, Saturday, September 6th. We also are 501(c), and we need funding for our fire support services. We're wanting to build an additional fire station 4.8 miles further east in Marion County from where Station 2 lives. Any of you that lives within 5 miles of a fire station, you get a substantial rate reduction on your property insurance, if you're not aware of that. So if you would be interested in making a donation, we have some flyers right over here, and the name is the Swanee Community Fire Support. And like I said, we do want to offer the fire station to be of use in the community, in addition to providing fire safety and rescue support. So any questions you have, we have a previous fireman and actually a supporter many years, Charlie Smith, who is right here. He certainly would be happy to answer any questions. I see our Marion County District 1 Commissioner is not here. Are there any other government officials here?
Captain Billy.
Of course, yes.
He's out here talking, but he just talked about the truck stop.
Absolutely.
Actually, Jordan Grant apologized for not being here. He had a previous commitment to District 1, Marion County. Rory Grant.
Yes, Rory Grant is our District 1 County Commissioner, who is actually very much on our side as opposed to most of the other commissioners, I understand. And I wish he was here. So, any questions anybody has? Now's the time.
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, and
Nobody has their hand. Anybody?
did we hit all the points? Back here. Cliff?
My name is Cliff Huffman. For those of you that don't know me, I'm not a very polished speaker, so forgive the jitters in my voice. I kind of just wanted to, I think was listening to what we've heard today. One of the things that's standing out is the staying in the fight. This is clearly going to take money, right? So I guess what I'm trying to do is encourage people to donate. And so to the funds to fight these issues that we have. We know living up here what a beautiful treasure we have up here. If we lose it, and we lose it, where are you going to go? I ask that question not so much as a rhetorical question, but that's something that I have been really thinking about. Where am I? I've got a son that lives in a different part of the country that wants me to move closer to him. So there is a conflict. There's conflict. Should we move? Well, again, where do you go? So, first thing, where are you going to go to find the treasure that we have here? Are there any other mountains? Are there any other bluffs, any plateaus where you're going to get the biological diversity you get here? Maybe. I don't know, but I kind of question whether we do. So, I'll admit that I have looked at places, and one of the things that stood out to me is the cost of property taxes. I don't know about you guys, but what we're paying for property tax right now, if we were to try to move somewhere else, we'd pay probably, I'd say 7 times what we're paying in property taxes right now. So, if you're trying to figure out how you can help to fund this thing, just keep that in perspective. Could you have the money? Yeah, you probably could. And if you're taking even, I don't know, let's just say a portion of what the additional money you'd be spending if you went to another place that wasn't being destroyed like this. If you were to take even half that money, then you could be making a proactive choice to maintain this. Because if you don't do that, then you're going to keep moving. Or, the answer is either stand your ground and fight, which we all know is going to take money, or keep moving. So I just want us all to keep that in mind right now. Anyway, that was just something that, as well, I was sitting here listening to everybody today. I think that we can all get that is the bottom line, is that it's going to take money to do this fight. And we could probably win this now. The other point I want to make quickly is that unfortunately right now, we are, truck stop and the quarry are the two things that are jumping out in my mind right now. We're on our heels. We're digging in on our heels trying to fight these issues. Now, so how do you proactively prevent this kind of destruction of our environment? Well, you do that through government. That's why the important thing that I feel like that we need to be doing is we need to be digging up some people that have some appreciation for what it is that we have here. Get them involved in politics. Get them on the board of commissioners. Get them to where they're have the power to make these decisions. That's the way that we proactively can fight these things. And it came up earlier in the conversation. If Marion County had a powers of attorney act, we may not be having this fight right now that we're having with the jump off board. So that's one thing, I guess, about fundraising. That's something we can do now. But moving forward, what we need to do is we need to get more involved in the local government and hope that we can source or that we can fund this fight until we can get in there and start making some changes from a legislative standpoint. Anyway, thank you all for your time.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak?
Yeah. I just have a question. The jump off legal fund, how do people give money to that?
Yep. So we have information back here there are flyers back here that have links to where you can donate digitally. You can also write out checks, make your checks out to SOCM, but make sure to put in the memo line that it is for the jump off fund. SOCM is a statewide organization that have a lot of battles going on, like you heard earlier, so just make sure to direct them to that. But yeah, we on the table back here, and then we got some coming up to you right here, and what I have is putting up in the air right there, and that'll have everything for you to follow up on. Anybody else? Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much. As you can see, these issues are things that very deeply matter to a lot of people. And I just want to thank you for coming out again. And then I think we're ready to do some drawings.
Let me just.
Or do you guys go back?
Very quickly, I wanted to pass around the sign-up form one more time. The thing that all of these fights have in common when they win, it's because, as everyone from United to Protect Plateau said so eloquently, people stick together. Through the hard times, through the long fights, this is going to require a whole lot of meetings. We're going to want people to go up together to Nashville, possibly to actually attend the court hearing when this appeal is heard. We're going to want to keep meeting. We're going to want to keep pressuring local government as we keep moving forward. So if you have not put your information down so we can stay in touch with you, send out messages, I'll send this around now. Please make sure to sign up. Yes?
I need that.
Yes.
All right.
There's 3 great door prizes, so if you didn't fill out a ticket, you can still go back there and pop it in the box. There's 2 Mountain Goat gift certificates, I think they're $25, and Mooney's, what is that, 25?
Yeah, did anybody have any?
So if you still want to do it, now is your chance.
I didn't get a ticket.
If you put your name on this list right here, I filled out your ticket for you. But so has anyone not got their the sign-in sheet here yet.
But you don't have to do that, you can still fill out the ticket.
Yeah, here you can fill out the ticket right here.
I did the sign up.
Okay, yeah, if you're on the list, I got you in here. Did you sign in? Yeah. Yeah, everyone who signed in on the list while everyone was up here speaking, I stepped to the back and put your names in here.
Oh, sweet.
You have that actually on there. All right. So the first one we have is a $25 gift card to the Mountain Goat Market.
Did you get Annie?
Anyone who was signed in on the sheet.
You were signed in, right? Okay, good.
Yeah.
We have yours.
Yeah, rather than having y'all fill out two things, once you signed in, I just did it for you and put it in here. So, last chance, we're all on the sheet. All right, great. So for our first one, we're gonna go with this. That is Joe H. Gill. You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, we?
Yeah.
Okay, you deserve it. Okay, Joe's paying it forward. We appreciate you, Joe. All right. I'm not looking. This is Chuck Morgan. Chuck, all right. Chuck, see me back here in just a moment when we're done with this, and I'll get it to you. We make note here that you are. Oh. And then our other one was Mooney's share.
So we have two.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Mooney's and then back to Mountain. Okay, so we're gonna do one for Mooney's right now. That is Will Foreign. Redraw for you? Okay. Will is paying it forward as well. Thank you, Will. We appreciate you getting up here and sharing your story. Let's see. For Mooney's, we are going with Louise Witherspoon. Is it Lois? Maybe? She's not here? Uh-oh. Try it again. This one is Bruce Bone. Bruce is gone? All right. I have got Carl H. White. All right, Carl, we got a movie for you. Carl, thanks for sticking around. I'll get it to you here in just a moment. I've got it. Yes, sir.
I'm 92 years old, September the 4th. I was born in Martin Springs, went to Martin Springs One House Schoolhouse. One way, I was at a great schoolhouse. Then I moved up here, we got the Bell Place. Now the Bell Place is gone, and they got $250,000, $450,000 homes over there above. I used to go firewood over there. Then I lived in Monaco, down looking for the taxi cab set it was. Okay? I lived back in there by the shipping ground for many years and went to school in Monaco. I went to school in Monaco, 3rd grade, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. And I passed out.
That must have been at least 10 years ago.
Anyhow, I went from there to South Pittsburgh. I went to South Pittsburgh High School. I lived in Marion County most of my life. I love this place, and I do not want to see it destroyed. Nobody! I'm 92 years old. Come on! Thank you. I appreciate it.
Carl's got me a little emotional. Thank you, Carl. We got one more Mountain Goat Market to pass out here, and thank you to them. They are wonderful people for helping us support the support here. All right, our final one of the night, Sally Stroud. All right, Sally, we got you with the Mountain Goat Market here. All right, everyone, there is plenty of food back there. Would you like to say something, Simon? No? Okay, I'll shoot it back here. Just get that to you. Thank you guys very much. Yes, yeah, right. Sherry will get you your gift certificates right back here, everybody.
You can become a SOCM member right here.
And then if you would like to become a member of SOCM, we've got information here. Adam's got it. And any questions you have, anything you'd like to follow up with, we're going to be around the table back here. And like I was saying, there's plenty of food back here. Please help yourselves. We do have recycling on either side. We have these small cans that are labeled recycling, so if you have plastic and cans, please put them in there. And other than that, thank you guys very much for letting us come out and say hi to our neighbors. I'll grab that right back to you, sir.